I am not happy. I mean, this is just ridiculous. You have got to be kidding me. Obviously, in this video, I'm talking about Yamamoto going to the Dodgers and my reaction to it as a Mets fan. If you like this video, you like me getting angry, getting frustrated, being passionate about my team, make sure to leave a like. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on the Dodgers getting Yoshi Yamamoto? Did the Dodgers spend too much? Should the Mets have offered more money? And to make me feel slightly better, it would make me at least feel better if you could just subscribe. That would be great. I would definitely appreciate it. If you're not subscribed already, you can tell anyone you know. You can make a Google account for them and subscribe. Help my channel grow. I would really appreciate it. It would be the best Christmas gift of all from you guys. So let's get right into it. I mean, on the Mets Weekly podcast that I do every week with my guys, we've been talking about Yoshi Yamamoto and how this is the guy that is the Mets' focal point of their offseason. They are building their offseason around trying to get this guy. They really want him. He was the top priority for the Mets. You know, Steve Cohen flew to Japan. He had dinner with him there. He had dinner with him at Steve Cohen's house. He had all these dinners with him because Yamamoto was so important, yet the Mets still couldn't get him. Yamamoto ends up going to the Los Angeles Dodgers for a 12-year, $325 million contract. It's been reported that the New York Mets also offered $325 million. Now, this definitely is a big-time contract. I mean, a 12-year contract for a starting pitcher is pretty unprecedented, but then again, a big-time star pitcher being in free agency at age 25 is also not something that usually happens. And the Dodgers, being the ones to pick up Yamamoto, becomes extra frustrating after they just got Shohei Ohtani and gave him $700 million. Yes, it was deferred and all that, but still, all in all, they did spend $700 million. And the Dodgers didn't stop there, trading for Tyler Glasnow and giving him an extension worth over $100 million. And I think the thing that frustrates me the most is the fact that when Steve Cohen first bought the Mets, in his opening press conference, he said, "I want to be like the Dodgers." Well, you haven't done things that make you like the Dodgers. I mean, you're the guy that's supposed to have more money than everybody, the richest owner in all of baseball, yet the Dodgers are the ones spending the most money. And you know what? Could the Mets have offered more than $325 million, and would Yamamoto have taken it? Who really knows? The Dodgers are obviously in all-out mode, and they're just going to spend whatever it takes to have an all-around super team, with them already having guys like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman on the team. So even if the Mets did offer more money, would the Dodgers also have offered more money and just kept matching the Mets' offer? Ultimately, this is where Yamamoto wanted to go. It's not like the Dodgers offered more money than the Mets did. Now, real quick, from the Yankees' perspective, this was their top guy as well. I mean, yes, they did make a massive trade for Juan Soto, which obviously the Mets did not, but for the Yankees to be a team that offered $300 million compared to the $325 that the Mets and Dodgers did, that's pretty interesting seeing that the Yankees got outbid when they are the New York Yankees. Like I said in the Juan Soto video, this historic franchise, a lot of pressure on them. They're obviously being very aggressive this offseason as well, offering a $300 million contract after making the Juan Soto trade. And I think one of the other most frustrating things about it is just, who are your alternatives if you're the Mets? You don't get Yamamoto. Where do you go now? I mean, are we going all out for Blake Snell now? Give me a break. I mean, Blake Snell is a guy who, you know what, he had a great year. He had Gary Sanchez catching him. All of a sudden, Gary Sanchez is this great defensive catcher that makes his pitchers better, where his whole career we had heard that he's this awful defensive catcher. Who would want to throw to this guy? Obviously, Garrett Cole did it, but we've seen Blake Snell blow up and have these starts where he walks so many batters. Do you want to invest a whole lot of money into him? He just doesn't feel like he's worth that kind of dollars. What about Jordan Montgomery? Are you paying him a year and a half of solid baseball? A guy who has been in New York before, wasn't great. He was all right, but again, not Yoshi Yamamoto, not a guy who by all accounts seems like a bona fide ace. Now, there is always that risk of, getting a guy who hasn't pitched in the major leagues before. It worked out well for Kodai Senga this year, and Yamamoto is supposed to be even better. He's got to be big time. I mean, obviously the talent is there. He's got the movement. He's got the velocity. He's got all things you want out of a pitcher. Now, there are some other very good pitchers who are out there who have also not pitched in the major leagues before. We'll see if the Mets end up pivoting to one of those guys. But all in all, again, it's just not Yoshi Yamamoto. And I really wonder what the Mets do here. I mean, because they offered the $325 to Yamamoto, what are they going to do with that money? Are they going to offer a lot of money to someone else? I mean, you have the injury with Ronnie Mauricio. It looks like they're not going to get Matt Chapman. They're going to handle third base from internally unless they get a veteran like a Justin Turner or a Gio Urshela. They still obviously need an outfielder. Teoscar Hernandez is the hitter that I want the most, but I will definitely settle for a Jorge Soler. At the minimum, they got to get a guy like Jock Peterson, just someone who has some power. We've talked about it a whole bunch. The Mets definitely could use some power to protect behind Pete Alonso. Have some other long ball threats, because with guys like McNeil and others, if Brett Baty's your starting third baseman, there's not going to be a lot of power from other areas. It's clear that with them not getting Yamamoto, this rotation definitely still needs quite a bit of help. You have Kodai Senga, you have Quintana, who had a pretty good year, and then you're relying on Luis Severino, who's been bad and injured recently. You're counting on a reclamation project. You're looking to find lightning in a bottle and try to fix him to get him back to his old self, which was several years ago at this point. So it kind of ruins the Christmas. I mean, this felt like this would have been the big Christmas gift from Steve Cohen, was to get this guy, supposed to be his guy. And you just think that, I don't know, I just feel like if this was Steve Cohen's guy, if this was the guy he was really going after, I thought he would have offered more than what the Dodgers offered. And again, maybe the Dodgers probably would have kept just matching, because the money that they've spent, obviously they felt that Yamamoto was a big priority for them as well. Now, maybe Corbin Burns will be available via trade, but we don't know quite yet. And do the Mets have a lot to offer trade-wise? It remains to be seen. I mean, obviously this team does not have young starting pitching, which is something that every organization covets in any kind of trade. And we haven't really heard about other big names being definitely available for trade. Maybe Dylan Cease, but again, he's not Yoshi Yamamoto. And I really wonder, what else are the Dodgers going to do at this point? I mean, after all the money they've been spending, are they just going to keep going? I mean, it's just crazy to me that with all this money that they deferred with Shohei Ohtani, giving the guy a $700 million contract, that they still are only paying, like, was it $46 million this year or something like that? So they can still do plenty of spending. And just with the way baseball is set up, their draft picks will be further back and things like that, so they won't be as good. But still, there's no massive penalty other than the luxury tax, having to spend more money, which obviously does not bother the Dodgers, the kind of money that they've been giving out. It's just very frustrating, and it's just crazy to me that contracts like this are allowed to happen, because it allowed them to trade and extend for Glasnow, make this big contract for Yamamoto. It's just very frustrating, and something that I wish the Mets could have done, maybe with a guy like Francisco Lindor, or maybe with the big contracts that they're still paying for Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, because the Mets being over the tax, having their draft picks pushed further back, while not having the talent level that the Dodgers have, it's just very frustrating. I mean, maybe not everyone's willing to do the deferrals, but it is something that you can use to your advantage, and I want to see if the Mets end up doing it in the future, if they have this owner with so much money who's tried to spend it. Correa didn't go through. Yamamoto couldn't pull that off. So again, we just have these $300 million offers that nobody's accepting right now. And of course, it doesn't help that the Dodgers are in the National League. So for the Mets, even if they made a whole bunch of moves, everything breaks right for them. They get lucky. They get back in the playoffs. If they match up with the Dodgers, doesn't really look like they have much of a chance with the team the Dodgers have. And who knows who else they will even add when it's all said and done. Again, I can't say it enough. I'm just very frustrated, because this is the guy that we heard about every single day from every reporter. Yamamoto this, where is he flying? Where is he eating? Who's meeting with him? Who's offering him something? It's all we heard about. This was the Mets' main focus. This is the guy that they wanted, and they couldn't get him. So again, we'll see who the Mets add. Obviously, I will make reaction videos to those players that the Mets add. And I'll tell you what, if it's players that aren't good, if they're getting guys who aren't great, I'm going to still be very frustrated. So I really, again, you got to trust in Stearns and hope that he knows what he's doing with all these minor league contracts that he's made, making these trades for guys like Adrian Hauser, who he had in Milwaukee. Again, not these exciting names that really are amazing, but you just hope that David Stearns could find something in these guys. And Jeremy Hefner, who somehow keeps a job, even though he hasn't had any great projects of guys that he's fixed or turned no-names into great players. And this Mets organization, which has not been great with developing players, for them to all of a sudden be able to do it with all these minor league moves that David Stearns has made. So again, let me know your thoughts on the Yamamoto deal with the Dodgers, your take on it. If you want to laugh at my rage as a Mets fan, go ahead. But as long as you subscribe, then we're even. Also, let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see. Obviously, I do want to get back on this. This is my passion. This is something I want to make a career on. So any help I can get from you guys, especially when it comes to brainstorming ideas of what kind of videos would be beneficial for the channel that you guys would enjoy, definitely make sure to let me know. And for those who celebrate, Merry Christmas, and hopefully I see you guys again before the new year. Don't want to make these long extended breaks of not posting content anymore. But be safe, be healthy. Let's go, Mets. Figure it out. Get me some people we've heard of that we could be excited about, please.